Today's reading is Matthew chapter 10, verses 26 to 33. And today the church commemorates Thomas More, 16th century scholar and Chancellor of Henry VIII, known to non-historians like me mainly through the medium of novel and film. You'll remember the sympathetic portrayal in The Man for All Seasons, and the more recent and different depiction by Hilary Mantel in Wolf Hall, which you may have read or seen on the telly. Thomas More fell out of favour when he opposed Henry's annulment of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon and his subsequent marriage to Anne Boleyn. He was executed later when he refused to take the oath of succession, which would make Henry head of the church in England instead of the Pope. His famous words at the end were that he died the king's servant, but God's first. So, was he a goodie or a baddie? Perhaps a mixture of both, like almost all of us, and writers and filmmakers shine the spotlight on whichever features they find most interesting. Pilate asked Jesus, "What is truth?" A question so simple and yet so impenetrable at the same time that Jesus didn't attempt an answer, not that Pilate probably expected one. He's not likely to have responded very well if Jesus had said, as on another occasion, "I am the truth." Today we remember Thomas More as a man of conscience and principle who put loyalty to God above loyalty to human authority, who knew that Henry could kill his body but not his soul. Do you ever wonder how our own age will be remembered? How the historians will record the events that we've lived through, how novelists and filmmakers will depict them? I wonder how the coronavirus pandemic will be presented, and in how many ways, from how many different viewpoints. There are plenty of those. If you went around asking people to tell you their story of lockdown, you might hear very different versions, even within one town. Then say you widened your research to interview people in other countries and you compared accounts from Europe and America and, say, from the slums of São Paulo in Brazil. São Paulo has 12 million people and 1.5 million of them live in favelas with no proper sewerage, electricity, water or rubbish services. As the virus spread, Brazil rapidly became the second worst affected country after the US. Imagine we could set alongside each other the story of the virus in Landaf and the story from a favela in São Paulo. Would it even seem like they were talking about the same event? And yet we are one human race. We are children of God. The Christians of Brazil are part of the universal body of Christ to which we also belong. We've known for some time that the virus disproportionately affects the poor, the vulnerable and the disadvantaged. It has pointed up to us the inequalities of our race in a cruel way. I say cruel, but the virus itself is neither good nor evil. It's just a virus. We are the ones who have the privilege and honour and terror of being moral persons, good and bad and something in between, who make choices. And through every move we make, every choice we make, the world we live in is constructed. The society across the world is the current result of all our choices added up. Is the human race, then, a goodie or a baddie? What's the verdict of history? It has to be some of each, if we could see the whole picture. But only God can do that. Only God has that perspective. Only God can ultimately judge, discern, that is, what is actually the truth about each of us and about all of us together.